Hello, good to have you here. Glad that you've come to join us for Junior Church again. If you've watched the main church stuff for this Sunday, then fantastic too. Good to have you with us as well. If you're just sticking and watching the Junior Church stuff, then great. We hope you enjoy everything that we're doing here. We've got loads to pack in today. Also, Ernest Street is doing something new. We are starting off a photo competition that you can get involved in, whatever your age. We want as many people as possible involved. We want it open to the wider community. Because we want to spread a bit of love and joy and hope in a time when people aren't necessarily feeling all of that. So what we're asking you to do is to take 3 pictures, one of something beautiful, one of something that makes you smile, and one of something that's hopeful. You can find all the details if you type into Facebook at No Capture, and that gives you the Facebook page with everything on. So get involved, get other people involved, and send us some photos so that we can share them with other people, and you stand a chance of winning a prize as well as part of the competition. That's great. So on to the normal stuff. We have our 1-minute craft. We have our fun fact. We have a memory verse. We have a quiz. We have a story from the Hebrew Scriptures, which is the Old Testament. We have stripes and rainbow this week getting involved. And we have a challenge as well. So get involved in all of those. The first thing we're going to do now is our craft. So listen up for the craft for today. So we have 2 different crafts that you could do today. One's a little bit harder than the other, but I want to share both of them with you. The story that we're doing today is told using a little puppet theatre, and it's one just like this, just teeny tiny. And what we've done is got an ordinary box and stuck some curtains on and stuck a little background in and obviously cut a hole in there. And we've made some little people from lolly sticks, just simple, plain, ordinary lolly sticks with a bit of masking tape holding a stick on the bottom so that they can reach in. And our story is told with these little people and doing a video of them. If you're feeling really creative, give it a go and do a Bible story for us and send it in to us, whatever age you are. If you're feeling creative, do that for us and then we can show it as part of this video that we put online onto YouTube, and other people can watch it and see it and be inspired by your creativity. The other thing that we're doing is making a wheel of fortune. And so what you need for this is you need a plate, a little arrow of some sort, some glue, a fidget spinner, and a piece of paper. So it's really simple, this. What we're going to do on the piece of paper is draw around the plate. So we get a really nice circle. There we go. All the way around, all the way around, all the way around. Lovely. So on your piece of paper, you'll have a lovely circle there. And then you need to split your circle up into maybe 4 quarters. Split it up into quarters like that. You can use a ruler and make it a lot nicer than I've done. And then in each quarter, write a challenge. Maybe you want to do nice challenges, maybe you want to do different challenges, but what about in each corner, right, in one corner, do the washing up. Another one, maybe make the bed, make your bed, or tidy your room, or just tidy in general, help tidying around the house. Maybe another one, you could cook something for people. So they see it, just written that in each of the corners. And what you could do once you've made this is in the morning when you get out of bed, give your fidget spinner a spin. I'm just sticking the arrow onto the fidget spinner there, onto one corner. One corner you can see, just with a little bit of Pritt stick. And then you can put it on your wheel of fortune and give it a spin and see where it lands. Maybe do that at the start of each day, and then you can see what thing you are going to be helpful with today. See if it's going to stop for me and what I'm going to be doing later on today. It looks like I'm going to be cooking. Well, let's see how Rainbow and Stripes got on with doing that for themselves as well.
Hello, me and Rainbow have made a fidget spinner. We put 4 fits on there. Me and Rainbow are gonna do whatever it says, however hard it is. I'm gonna spin first, and then Rainbow is gonna spin after. Look, it says, have a bath, run around the garden 5 times, clean the toilet, or eat all the chocolates. Here goes. Which is it gonna be? Ooh. Oh no, not clean the toilet, I want to eat the chocolates. Hold on. Rainbow's turn.
Naaman was a soldier, not just any soldier, but the commander of the whole Syrian army. He was a very powerful man, but he was afraid. Naaman, you see, was ill, and no one knew how to make him well. His skin was covered with sores, and he couldn't feel his fingers or his feet. Everyone felt sorry for him, and God felt sorry too. So God whispered to a little girl who had been captured by Naaman's army and carried away from God's promised land. She worked for Naaman's wife, and one day she said to her mistress, "Back in Israel, where I come from, there lives a man called Elisha. God uses him to make sick people well. If only Naaman could go and see him." And before long, the great soldier who had fought against God's people was off to seek help from God's prophet. Naaman didn't go alone. He took his servants and his horses and a chariot full of treasure to reward Elisha in case his cure should work. It was a grand parade, and Naaman expected a grand greeting in return. But when he sent one of his men to knock on Elisha's door, the prophet did not even answer. Instead, he took his servant Gehazi to say, "If you want to be well, go and dip yourself 7 times in the Jordan River." Now it may be that Naaman was tired and frustrated, or it may be simply that he was proud. Whatever the reason, the prophet's message made him angry. "The Jordan River," he shouted, "it's filthy. I'll throw myself into any river back in Syria, but I will not stick one toe in the Jordan or take the advice of a man who cannot even be bothered to meet me." "Begging your pardon, sir," mumbled one of Naaman's servants, "but if the prophet had sent you off to do something hard, you would have gone and done it straight away, wouldn't you?" "Of course," grunted Naaman. "Any soldier would." "Well then, why can't you go and do something easy, like washing in the river? It can't hurt, and it just might work." Naaman sighed. "All right," and led his men to the river. He dipped himself once, twice, 3 times, nothing. When he came up for the 7th time, spluttering and shaking the water from his face, Naaman's men let out a cheer. Naaman opened his eyes and looked at his hands. The sores were gone from all over his body. Naaman hurried and dressed and went back to Elisha's house to thank him. He was so pleased. He promised to always worship God. He offered lots of treasure, but Elisha refused because it was God who had healed Naaman. Elisha nodded and smiled, and God smiled too. For with a little girl in a muddy river, God had turned an enemy into a friend.
Wow, this is such an amazing story. The amazing person that I want to pick out of that story is the person who we saw at the end just there. It's the servant girl. The servant girl who is brave for God, who does an amazing thing. You know what life must have been like for her? She was taken away from her family and her friends and the normal place she lived, and taken as a captive, a prisoner, to Syria, where she served as a servant girl to Naaman's wife. We don't even know her name, which reminds us that in her culture, that being a girl meant that you didn't have any importance. That meant you didn't have any power, that you didn't have any influence. Being a girl and being a servant meant that she didn't have any rights in that household. She was just there to do what other people told her to do. And yet this girl shows love
to her enemy, the people who have kept her captive, love to her enemy, and shows faith in what God can do. It is amazing. She is somebody with no power, no ability to go and do things and sort things like a king might have. A king has power to change and to tell people what to do, but she had none of that. And yet she did something awesome for God. She sends Naaman off to Israel, tells him about Elisha, and the result is that Naaman is healed. God makes him better. It's amazing. Sometimes we can feel like we are too small, that we don't have enough cleverness, we don't have enough amazingness about us to do amazing things. But this story of this girl reminds us that as we follow God, we can do amazing things through God and in God's power. Even though we're little, even though we're small. I want to remind you of a story that happened a little while ago, and it was this. School pupils ended up going out on strike because they didn't feel that adults were taking seriously the effects of climate change. And so children across schools, across the country, each individual person went out and said, I'm not doing any more school this day because I want you to know that I really care about the environment and I want you to do something about it. And the fact that each of those individual school pupils went out and said, look, we care about this thing, made a difference. It made a difference to people beginning to talk about it and writing news articles about it, that people begin to understand that children care about the climate, about the world, about the environment. It's an amazing thing that individual people, small people with no power and influence, went out and changed something, like the servant girl did. And when we work with God, God can change stuff through us. Jesus says these fantastic words: faith as small as a mustard seed can move mountains. The servant girl's faith in God moved the mountain of leprosy. Naaman was healed. Faith is about trusting in God. Trusting and saying, yes, God, I'll do what you want me to do. Faith as small as a mustard seed can move mountains. That is our memory verse for this week. So remember this. Faith, even if it's small, can move a mountain, can move mountains in our lives, can help us get through things that we didn't think we could get through otherwise, can help us to do things that we didn't think we were otherwise able to do. Faith as small as a mustard seed can move mountains. That is our memory verse for this week. The next up, we're going to have Hannah's Facts, which is about a very, very small thing.
The pygmy shrew is the smallest mammal in the UK, and it eats 125% of its body weight every day.
It's quiz time! Find the odd one out. If you need more time, press the pause button. Find it. See if someone in your house can find it. Find the odd one. Find it. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it?
Well, that is a tough quiz. Thank you, Stripes and Rainbow, for doing that for us. Just a reminder from that quiz, keep being willing to be the odd one out. Stand up and say the thing that's right. Do the thing that is good, even when no one else is doing it. Be willing to be the odd one out, the person who's different, the person who tries to challenge things and change the way things are. Don't give up. You know, as you get older, you get more and more used to the way things are. And the adults watching this have a challenge not to get used to the way things are, but to be ready to challenge them. And as you grow up, you've got the same challenge. Be ready to stand up and do things differently because it's right and because God wants you to. Be willing to be the odd one out. Next up, we have our challenge for today. And it's a slightly easier one for this week, so go for it. Send your video in to us. We'd love to hear from you about it. This is a super fast challenge today that you can get involved in, and we want your videos. Send your videos in of you having a go at this. What you need is 2 pencils with an eraser on the end and a cup that's about half the height of your pencils. And it's the fastest time to get 2 pencils into the cup by bouncing it on the eraser end. 2 pencils in the cup. I'm going to try and do one. That one didn't work. That one didn't work. It's going to happen. Yes, there you go. Got one in. You've got to get 2 in the fastest time. Time yourself doing it and send the video to us so we can put it on the end of this video. Fantastic. Have fun with the challenge. Just a reminder, take photos. Join in with the competition. Something hopeful, something beautiful, something that makes you smile. And at Now Capture is the Facebook page for the photo competition. If you need more information, go on there or send us an email and we'll let you know what's happening. Junior Church always seems to go by too fast, but that's the end for this week. We'll hope you join us again next week and come and get involved in all the activities. Send us a video of you doing the challenge this week. Goodbye. Have a good week. We hope to see you again next week.
I want to eat chocolate. I want to eat chocolate. Spinning, 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 spinning. No! I hate baths. No!